Welcome to Top Hill Recording Podcast, the podcast where we ask a band, an artist, a singer-songwriter to come in, give us 4 original tunes. We sit, we talk about those tunes, and we talk about what is going on in that person or these people or however that rolls life, their musical life, all that good stuff. And tonight we have a friend of the podcast in. Been on, we actually kind of talked about this before. It was shocking to realize it's been almost like over, 3 years or so.
Yeah, like 3 years.
About 3 years since the last time that he's been in, but a friend of the podcast. We are super excited to have him back with a couple new tunes coming out probably about around the time of this podcast. We'll have the first one being released. Our friend, Teddy Joe.
I hide under the darkness of the evening, imprisoned by the likes of which my own. The stories of the past are casting shadows on the wall, and I fear this aching heart may turn to stone. That lonesome whistle freight train started singing, it called me like it never had before. It beckoned from the deepest, darkest depths of desperation. So I left this wounded letter by your door. It says I'm tired of these sleepless nights of grieving. Got me feeling like I've got no place to go. Think I might go back, lay my head down on a track, and let that lonesome whistle take me home. So I'll travel till them railroads leave the pavement, and find a spot in which to make my stand. If no one in this world could want this broken love of mine, then I'll give this broken love back to the land. Cause I'm tired of these sleepless nights of grieving. Got me feeling like I've got no place to go. Think I might go back, lay my head down on a track, and let that lonesome whistle take me home. shadow weighs heavy, it's pulling me down. Follows my footsteps and mimics the sound. The lives that I've loved now deep in the ground. Can't find a reason that I made it out. The lessons I've learned, knowledge I've gained, all at the expense of the soul-crushing pain. Tried to find solace but never came. Just out of my reach, still calling my name. And I'm lost, I don't wanna move on. Nectar unsweet keeps pulling me in. Reminds me of places that I've never been. Been fighting this battle I know I can't win. So when I come down, I just climb back again. Till my pockets run empty, so are my eyes. Got pretty good at believing the lies. Countless I told I hid behind. Keep me from facing that demon inside. And I'm lost, so lost, I don't wanna move on. Shadow weighs heavy, it's pulling me down. Follows my footsteps, mimics the sound. Sunken my teeth into time that I waste. I held up my fears to a mirrored face. I shed all my skin to the man I had been, and like what I saw and erased it. It's chased me for years and it's running me down. My silence was fortune that crumbled in crown. Tried to forgive this old life that I lived, got buried alive in the sound. And oh, how long have I gone without seeing which side you were on? If I made a living off worthlessly dragging along, Lord, what have I done? It's one and the same, prison and pride. Stash it away if I knew where to hide from all that it will, and it carries me still, locks me away deep inside. Stay here alive and I'll stay here alone. Whoever finds me will carry these bones, and all they can tell is the man here that fell, is the man that abandoned his own. Had I gone without seeing which side you were on? If I made a living off worthlessly dragging along, Lord, what have I done? Yeah, what have I done? Clouds ain't coming, rain won't cure the blues. Stuck here fighting, trying not to lose. Here I am on the run, 6 a.m. and I can't sleep or stop to think, but my red eyes and big blue sky should carry on. Long time coming, living in the past. quick redemption, which will never last. It's been a while since I've known peace. Hard to remember when it was, yeah, what it does. But my red eyes and big blue skies should carry on. Ain't no living spent climbing out of holes. One wrong move here, and deeper down you go. See, this old shovel was made to break. I took the fall and I can't shake myself awake. But my red eyes and big blue skies should carry on. Getting closer to falling off the shelf. Moving slower than everybody else. Now and then I need a relief, sense of purpose, hell it leads to strong belief that my red eyes and big blue skies should carry on.
Howdy, y'all.
What's up,
Hola,
buddy?
hola.
Oh, not much.
Hey, man. Killer stuff. You know, you
Absolutely.
got a new tune coming out. It's
Yeah.
probably, I don't know where we are in this, but I think that we're probably like right on tune with being November, December. And you said you don't have a date, which is perfect because, you know, it's just one of those things, man. It's hard to remember or hard to nail it down. But
It'll get announced before it about what
Yeah.
happens. So like there will be a heads up.
yeah, man.
Especially after like tonight, to get like a better idea of like
Force your hand.
Yeah, well, I remember last time I didn't plan it right, and I guess for some reason thought the podcast would come out like right away. Just I don't know, and so the whole podcast episode I was talking about this EP that's going to come out that had already come out by the time it played. So yeah, I'm gonna
That was probably our fault.
kind of but it's kind of playing it by ear. But for sure, end of November, early December is going to be the first one. It's going to be really good. We got some amazing session artists on there, and I'm excited for y'all to hear it.
Well, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be real cool.
So it's been about 3 years. So
3 COVID years, so
Three-
like 6
Yeah.
to 10 years.
Yeah. So what's been? What the hell was that?
It's the camera.
Why did it go off?
It's probably
I don't know.
good.
Hold
It's
on.
a noisy camera.
Oh.
All right, hold on. I know exactly where we'll be. So 3 years, 47 COVID years, and 21 dog years. What's been going on for the last few years, man?
Well, a lot of work. A lot of working.
A lot of like real life work.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah. I mean, because like I meant like work, like making money and stuff. But like as far as like on a personal level, even more so. Being a relatively introverted person when the lockdown happened, not too much really changed right off the bat. Near the end of it, I started losing my mind a little bit like everybody else. But, I kind of forced me and a lot of other people to look inward a little more than we were and question things about how we're dealing with life and how we're not dealing with life. And I just had to be really honest with myself. And ever since, it's just been like a road of figuring it out,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So like, I mean, not to start super deep or anything, right?
I mean, you're about to find out that's about all I do. So,
well, which is good. It's nice to have that to be able to get there because it is important to kind of talk about this.
Yeah.
Where we've been with where you were when that EP came out to where you are now, and discovery. There seems to be this refreshing thing going on musically. I don't know what everything else looks like. Putting in work is hard, but it's rewarding when you get to the other side of all that stuff. But musically, hearing where you're at is like it's a bit of a change. Not much, but there's like
progression.
There's joy in your fingers, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's what you're doing.
And I enjoy what I'm playing a little bit more. I think at that time, it's what I was doing. That's the music I was playing. But like looking back on it, it was very transitionary. Like I was figuring it out. There's a lot of like blues influence on that out on the EP, and there still is in my playing a lot more when I'm like on electric and stuff. But it was kind of like the change of me going from a mostly full band oriented musician to doing my own thing as Teddy Joe, and that took a lot of figuring out. I'm still getting it down, but I think I've got a good thing going. I think I found something that works, and getting the finger picking down a little bit, hanging out with some bluegrass people.
No doubt.
It's definitely helped with that a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. Spencer mentioned, Doc Watson. You can definitely hear the influence and that type of
ragtime.
I mean, why not, man? I mean, if you're going to listen, that's definitely like not even the starting point for that type of music, but like once you figure out how to play Doc Watson tune, you go, oh, dude, I can play a little bit.
It's hard to go back from it too. Once you figure out that,
absolutely.
Every time I pick up a guitar, it's Deep River Blues. I'm sure, like my 17-year-old's like, how do you not?
Well, I had to figure out a way to fill out a room with music playing by myself, and ragtime was it. Play the bass with the thumb and the melody with the fingers. It just kind of fills out the sound,
For sure, man. All right, so I jump like a frog on all this stuff, or a cricket, or grasshopper. A lot of stuff jumps.
Trust me, it's all good.
So, I always like to collate, and when I think about, we've only been talking for a second, but you're talking about this change in music and this 3 years since the last time we've been in the room hanging out, and this big exploring your mental, kind of digging in and doing some things to kind of figure some things out on your end for yourself. Did those things like kind of go hand in hand? Was there part of what you were doing musically that was therapeutic to what you needed mentally?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of frustration when you're learning an instrument and you're not where your mind pictures you being, which is, they'll tell you it's not what you want to do. It's not what you want to do. It's what your brain does, though. And you have to kind of deal with that, and you have to get past that. But once you get to, or I got to a point, I've been playing for, 22 years now. And it feels good to be at a point where like I hear something and it interests me, and I can pick up a guitar and I can figure it out. I can get it down. I mean, it takes a little bit of time, but it's very satisfying. It was like, I was telling Spencer, it's like when you're cooking something and you get a new idea, excuse me, and you don't know if it's going to work, and you do it and it's amazing. Like it goes perfectly. The bechamel mixes, perfect. It's a good feeling. It's
Absolutely.
A good feeling of personal satisfaction, which I don't know very well, but yeah. So I mean, it definitely has helped open up my mind a little bit. It's helped me feel a little better. I feel better after playing, and I've started writing a little more. I don't know if honest is the right word, but just trying to not hide what I'm saying too much. Honestly, it has been a big thing trying to figure out my writing process and how that works. I'm still not there yet, but I was just having a great chat with our buddy Scott, and it's like we're tapping into something. And like when I sit down and I write like the songs that I played that I showed y'all, I mean, the only difference between those and the other songs that I don't show anybody is like I just let it go. Like I just let it out. I just put the pen to paper, and what came out was that. And like I had to switch some things up a little bit. It's learning to write through the bad and getting to the good. And that's bad and good is relative as well, because there's a lot of music that I play that I do not like that people love. And, that's just personal stuff. But still, like, it is nice to like what you end up writing, but being able to sit down and kind of let that let that go, like let that hang up go. It's free. It's very freeing. And it's still like I'll think I got it, and then I'll sit down again, and it doesn't necessarily go away, but you kind of get better at catching it and taking a deep breath and letting it out.
Yeah, for sure.
And as far as right now, that's the best way I can tap into it. I'm hoping to figure it out more, but I know I'm not alone in that fight.
All right, dude. So not only are you not alone in that fight, with like life, like all of us are, I used to think that it's weird. Like when you're growing up as a kid, you look at 20-year-olds and go, okay, well they have it figured out. They're 20, or 30-year-olds, and you go, well, to the 30, they know everything. If they tell me something, that means it's true. It's real.
We're all scared.
And you get to a certain point where you realize, even as a kid, where you go, I'm definitely smarter than that adult. I'm definitely smarter than that. Therefore, how this doesn't compute with what I've always thought were somebody has it figured out. You always think that there's a point in your life or a point in somebody's existence where they go, I nailed it, figured it out, I've got it. But the older I get, and the more that I'm around people, and the more that I just kind of sit back and look at people in my life and not in my life, and you just go, they're just trying to.
Yep.
They don't know how to do this. They don't know if what they think is true. They don't know if what their beliefs are right. They don't know. Just, if you figure out a way to get through this place and be a good person and give others more than you take, then maybe that's the best way. Who knows? I still don't know.
That's all you can do.
That's all I can think to do. But I say all that to think, because right now I think of Spencer a lot when it comes to musically with music, because he's like, I don't know I'm trying to figure out me. I'm trying to find my voice. I'm trying to figure out what type of guitar player I am. And I'm just, and as a person who's been around him since he's 16 years old and been playing music with me since he was the first time I met him, he's always been a very talented, a very good guitar player, and it gets it. There's no...
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
And I just... it bodes the same as life. Like, just because you think somebody, Doc Watson looked at somebody and thought they're way better than I'm a fraud because I can't do what they do. I don't play how he plays or she plays. You know, there's always that barrier that everybody thinks that they got to reach. And I think that, like, there's a point in life where you figure out, I just got to be good with myself.
You got to let go.
You got to let go.
And that's something, so I'll tell you right now, I'm really good at not following my own advice. I tell people that all the time, and I don't fucking know how to let go. I'm figuring it out, like, you know, but that is where I'm at, is like learning to let go and knowing that nobody knows what they're doing here. Like, we weren't born with a set, you know, an instruction set. And I'm gonna say something like, I look right at the camera right now. So if anybody tells you that they have it figured out, they are either deeply misinformed or they're trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
And I am not sure about a lot of stuff that I say. I'm sure about that. So if there's anything you take away from this, take that. Just know that, like, they're full of shit, and even if they don't know it, and doesn't even necessarily make them a bad person, but just know that they are on their own journey and you're on yours, and we're all figuring it out. And y'all want some more bourbon?
No,
I'm good.
I'm drinking his. I'm
Cool.
I'm done driving for the night, man. I live here.
Yeah. I still got
totally agree, man. You know, it's I heard something awesome in the last couple of weeks, and I listen to podcasts all the time. I have time to do that, and that's just something that I tend to do. And it was a comedian, Ari Shaffir, but I think that he was quoting somebody else, and it may have been, I don't know. But he said, somebody else's opinion of you is none of your business. Like, what you think of me, all right, that thing's dead.
We have angered it.
It's like, here's what I think. No, I said, it's fine. That was that GoPro. But he said, you know, what somebody else's opinion of you is none of my business. So, like, if whatever you think of me is none of my business, that's totally your opinion. So it shouldn't be something that I concern myself with. Live your life, do your thing. You know, I've got my kid in this room running the switcher tonight since Spencer's helping with the co-hosting. Yep. And one of the things that I do love is she's not worried about what I think. She's going to live her life. And she also has, and you also have, you know, I'm not going to be a person to judge her for how she decides to do things. I may give her my advice, and she may come to me more if I don't offer it up all the time. You know, and because I don't like the same deal. You know, I don't know everything. I don't know if you know this or not, but I don't know everything. I don't know most things.
Yeah,
so, and a lot of stuff I've learned in my life, I've learned on YouTube. So who knows how that's going to work out. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, it's like you've got to legit understand with life, with music. You know, there's points and times where you figure things out. You know, like you right now, I think in this last 3-year stretch, you figured something out musically, which may have transitioned musically and with you internally and anything that you were dealing with that way. But there's been a shift because
there's definitely been a change.
Progress.
Change.
Good word.
And it's it has left me with more questions.
Totally.
It always will.
But how fun is that?
I mean, I think that's the purpose.
There's no end to this.
Like, that's the part of, I'm 23. I'm young. I don't know a lot about life, but I agree with what you guys are saying. I mean,
I'm young.
Nobody, it's 2001. Let's be real. I'm a baby almost.
You are a baby.
But I mean, I don't know a lot about life.
Pull that mic
down. Huh? Oh. Hello. But I know that, I agree. Like, you think when you're young, you look up to adults and like, oh, they got it all figured out. But older I get, the more I realize none of us know what's going on. And I mean, like
they were scared, probably stoned. Like, they didn't know what they were talking about.
Dude.
Well, and another important thing that I've found is, you know, like, whenever you are a little kid, you do kind of envision, because you see your parents and then you see their friends and all that stuff. And it's almost like they're on like a timeline to where it's like, okay, by 25, they're married, by, then they got a house.
Which is a dangerous thing to fall into.
It is.
And then you
but-
see your friends and everyone around you in your age group doing the same exact thing.
Well, but then I have to remind myself of like, hey, you need to slow down.
Yes.
Because guess what? You're not on a timeline. You're not in a race. The only person you got to be worried about is you. And so, like trying to figure out what type of guitar playing I would like to do the most, it's just, I've just kind of had to realize like, hey, slow down, take the time to learn what you want to learn. And then hopefully something cool happens.
Absolutely. So I have a lyric written down in my phone in the wasteland that is my notepad. And it says there are too many walks of life to be run to the end. And it's just that. It's like getting caught up thinking of where I should be.
Quote unquote.
And, I'm staring down the barrel of 30 and like feeling like I should be better off or what have you, know, it's all bullshit. Like,
it
totally, look,
sweet.
the model for how what success is there isn't one anymore when it comes to music. So it's like age doesn't matter. Being 30 doesn't matter. Thinking that you need to have, I totally agree with what you all were saying. Like you think that you have to hit these barriers and be a certain thing at a certain age and all this other things. And you have to legit realize it's my life.
Yep.
It's my thing. 30, who gives a shit, dude?
Yeah.
Like,
take a walk, don't sprint. You'll hurt yourself.
Because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. You're running to the end if you do that shit. I've heard
you're gonna miss out on everything.
You miss out.
Yeah.
I've heard many a times like, life is you like the road, or like you're walking down the middle of the street and you got the dotted lines and it's dot. And then you get older and it gets a little bit quicker, and then it gets to the point where all those dots, you're walking so fast they look like a straight line. They just look like a line in the middle of the road because shit just goes fast. You'll never figure it out. You'll never know why we're here. We'll never have, it is what it is.
And that's okay.
Yeah,
because even if
it has to be okay. Like it has to be
that.
okay. Otherwise, you're just going to lose your mind.
Well, but I say that even to say like, people who think and totally believe in whatever their faith or whatever it is, that think that this is why we're here. This is the thing that we're doing. You still don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
That's what faith is. That's why it's total belief without evidence. So, like, at the end of the day, faith or not, none of us know.
Just do things with love.
Yep.
Do things with love.
Do
Be
things
a
with
good
love.
dude.
Don't be an asshole. Like, just be a good person.
Yeah.
At the end of every day, if you can tell yourself that you were not an asshole that day, it's a good day.
Dude, not only that, believing that you're good enough. Telling yourself that you are.
Now, that is something I need to work on.
I think that's something that everybody in this room
I will
probably.
say,
They're 1, 2, 3.
I've been on
1,
3
2,
podcasts,
3, 4.
and
All
I
right.
will say that that's one thing I've noticed is musicians are you all are hard on yourself, like incredibly
Sucks, dog.
tough on yourself, like to an extent where it's like, gosh, I wish they could just take a second to be like, oh, I am pretty good at, it's unfortunate to see how hard you all
Dude.
Well,
take things.
it's one of those things. It is, and I can tell you why. And it's because in our hearts, not everybody, but a lot of us, we aspire to be our heroes. And our heroes have, and the reason why they are heroes is because of the amount of things that they got to finish and they got to do in such a small period of time. And one of the things that, like one of my biggest, like one of my favorites is Billy Strings. Well, he was a freak of nature since the time he was 15 years old. And the thing is no one can ever do that.
No.
It's only him.
Timelines.
Exactly.
Well, he's also talked about how like he did meth, stayed up for 72 hours.
Yeah, you can accomplish a lot.
And figured out. It had like a revelation with the guitar. I'm not going to commit to that.
No, I'm good. I'll skip the crack pipe.
I mean, I already take Adderall. It's fine.
Yeah, no, we're
pretty much there already.
No, maybe. All right, maybe. But no, I'm not. I won't smoke meth to be better at guitar.
No.
But yeah, man. All right, sorry. Go ahead. Finish.
No, it's just one of those things. It's, you know, because I remember like studying like Jimi Hendrix and Little Richard and all of these big acts that got so big, so young. And then you think, oh man, you know, by the time I'm 25, I should already be going on national tours. I should be already going out there and doing that.
Right.
Well, then, but it's all, even if you don't.
Not a reality.
Exactly.
And
but
also,
even if you say that.
But also think of it like, those times were so different.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Music,
100%.
Music.
And even now, it's even
for
different.
music, it's different. Yeah, all that stuff is different. And it just, you know, what I said earlier, like defining success, what success is it, you know, just recording music and going, who gives a shit who listens?
Mm-hmm.
Is it having to have status? Is it, you know, you know, the Billy Strings and the people that are all freaks of nature. The one thing, like with him and with, you know, those type of guys and girls have work ethic that's ridiculous. So it's those things among like breaking barriers. But for people that aren't born with like ridiculousness and that have that thing where Jalen's talking about, where you're like a little bit tough on yourself and not wanting, not being able to figure out how to feel comfortable in your skin in music or with other things until you get to this point where you just don't give a shit anymore. You know, I think that all of that kind of collates musically, internally. You know, that's the biggest battle I think any of us face. Musicians, people, is figuring out internally like how to be settled in your own skin. We've kind of joked in this room tonight about ADD and you know, all these things, but it's so true. Anxiety, you know, I'm riddled. I've had tics for the last couple of days, and I have no reason to have them. I have not. There's no reason. I have a great life right now.
There's no logic to it.
There's no logic. It is wild, but you know, you try to figure out how to just feel settled in your own skin at times.
Well, we have to somehow convince our midbrain that there's not like a saber-toothed tiger outside, you know, having to kill us, because that's where that comes from. Like it's like evolutionarily speaking, like we as a species have moved past that, but like it's hard though. That's like hardwired into our brains to feel that way, and not everybody has, you know, legitimate, like everybody has anxieties about things, but like with that, like when I have that too, where it's just like you're just sitting there and it feels like your life is gonna end, and you're just like sitting there like watching TV,
and there's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah, there's nothing to it, and that's why it's so hard to talk yourself out of it, because you can't feed that with logic. Like it's like an argument between your midbrain and your frontal lobe, and like your frontal lobe's your logic center, your midbrain has seniority though, so it's just like, you know, your frontal lobe's like, hey man, here's, you know, why this is not a thing. Like this is why, like this doesn't matter, and then your midbrain just shouts back in primal screaming.
But you know, and the weird, like as an artist, as thinking artistically and thinking about creation and putting yourself out there and putting these songs out there and doing that type of stuff, there's still that type of fear, you know, that your primal brain fears the rejection, the saber-toothed tiger is people's judgment about, you know, like, is it going to be liked? Am I going to, are people going to get it? Are they going to dig me? Am I good enough? And I think at some point as a musician, as a creator, as a songwriter, as an artist, jumping that hurdle of realizing it doesn't matter. The people that like me are the ones that I need to lean into. You know, figuring out what type of guitar player you are, doesn't matter as much as like, is what you doing translate? Are you feeling what you're playing? Are you having a good time? Does this mean something to you? You know, that is therapeutic in itself. I feel like a therapist tonight. I don't know what's going on.
You're definitely you definitely got the glasses on.
Well, I just like I not because I'm figuring things out or anything, but I just my figuring things out is realizing that nobody has it figured out.
Yeah.
It's all absurd, man.
It's so absurd.
We're on this like rock that's mostly filled with water that's hurling through space. Like it's like why try to put logic to it? Why try to figure it out? We will spend our entire lives trying to figure it out, and we will miss everything. So like you gotta just try to ignore that and just enjoy it while you're here, because it's not long. We're not here for very long, and it goes by quick, you know.
Yeah. And do you, man?
Just be happy. Yeah, be happy with yourself. You know.
You got
learn how to be. You know. you
got a couple new songs coming out. And you've got this other one that you played for us tonight that you literally just wrote. You played it for one other person other than us in this room. So like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of us in this room, there's 5 of us and a farting dog in this room.
Yes.
And it is gross.
It's not a true home without a farting dog.
So 6 people other than you have heard this tune, and the vulnerability to do that and one take it. I mean, dude,
No
you didn't.
joke.
You're like, I might do a couple takes. I don't really, and then nail it
literally
the first time through. You know, you have this kind of fresh start after a few years. What are you feeling right now? Because we're literally talking about within the release of this podcast. It's either released or it's going to be released in the next couple of weeks. Where you at?
I'm anxious, but it feels like it's the start of something. I feel like there's this raw energy that I'm figuring out how to tap into a little bit, and everything's slowly starting to align a little bit. And I've put myself around some really just genuinely good people.
Which we need to talk about that.
Yes, 100%.
Right, we'll talk about that.
And other peers and people who musically challenge me when we're playing together, which helps me get better. And it feels good. Like it feels good. I am scared shitless about it. And still I'm grasping at straws of figuring out where to go next. But I genuinely feel like I'm onto something here. And honestly, I mean, some of these songs I've played in front of rooms of people, and it has moved them in ways I didn't think it would. And just seeing that, which at the end of the day is what I'm really doing this for. Like I want to help people. I know how hard this is. I'm just living day to day. I have chemical deficiency. I have trauma. Like it is not easy. Like it's really not easy. It feels like every part of you is convincing yourself to not keep doing it. And the only thing that's really helped me, and don't get me wrong, like I take medication, like I need it. Not everybody does. I do. It is necessary for some people.
I need it. I take it. It's awesome.
And that's totally okay. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Like if it helps you, like my brain doesn't make the right chemicals. Like I can't do that on my own. So, and like,
dude,
what was I just saying?
You were talking about just how like your brain doesn't produce that on your own. Like you have to take medicine for that, and that's totally okay.
Oh,
and talk about vulnerability, and then convincing yourself that like,
thank you,
thank you, not to quit.
The one thing that's really it's gotten me out of. I mean, it helped me get me off drugs. Like it helped me get. It's helping me gain my sanity is knowing that there are other people out there that are feeling this and that are also figuring it out, and they're writing about it, and it helps them, and at the same time they're able to make a living doing it. Why the hell not? But really, like in reality, just having that feeling that it's very alienating, thinking that nobody else, because your brain will try to convince you that nobody else gets it, and that's why you don't want to talk to anybody about it. And that's why I talk about it. That's why the second we sit down with microphones, we're talking about depression and anxiety and the meaning of life. Like my small talk is just regular, like it's deep conversation. I really
do, which I'd prefer.
I think it's
I appreciate
like,
that.
and don't get me wrong, like if you wanna small talk, hey, how's the weather? I'll riff. Like it's cool, but like generally speaking, like with interaction, I like to learn about people. I like people to learn about me. I like knowing who you are. You know what I mean? Not who you tell people you are. Like, I want to know.
Getting the true sense of someone.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like when you're at that level, it's easy to talk to somebody once you figure that out, you know? And it deepens the connection as well.
Dude, I don't know if in where you were at in 2021 when you came on the pod. I don't know if you're using. I don't know what was going on, but I do know like where you're at now is good, dude. Like you look good. This has been an awesome conversation tonight. Being totally just bare bones. Let's just talk about life.
Yeah.
And I don't care where you were. I don't know. I don't care. I just know that like it feels like things for you are trending in such a good direction. And I also know like some of the stuff that we kind of talked about being a good human, you don't only talk about, you do. I know you're a staple at the Monarch. I know you do a ton of stuff for Mark and help them out. And this is not, I'm not blowing smoke or doing any of that, but I know that you're close, so you're there, and you are one of the important people that are around that place. So,
thank you.
Well, I always wish that I could be there more. We talk about it a ton on this place.
Like, I wish I could be there more too.
I wish I could be there every night.
Yeah,
I mean, you know how it is.
I'm working most of those shows. I'm working during most of those shows, unfortunately, and it's tough. Like it's tough. Not being there at such a magical place around such good people and good music and. Well, where I can like sit down with almost anyone in that building and have a conversation like this.
Yeah,
100%. That's a rare thing, super rare thing, and that's why. I mean, that's why I'm so involved with that. I mean, I met Mark a few years back now, and I mean, the second I checked the place out, I never looked back. I mean, there's no other place like that, and even just. Personally, because of him, I mean, it's opened up so many doorways for me as far as networking and even like Aaron Bibelhauser's.
Again, we're going to talk. But before we leave, I mean, I think we're pretty deep in, so let's get there. You mentioned this next few songs that you're releasing. Aaron Bibelhauser, do you have Guernsey on one of these tunes?
Yeah.
I mean, so
the man,
like you guys that we've had in, but so we've recently had Bibelhauser brothers in with Jeff Guernsey and Steve Cooley and Adam and Aaron and both Guernsey and Steve Cooley I've been massive fans of for years. Cooley was a gigantic influence when I was a child, which we talked about in the podcast. But one thing about Aaron is like after the thing, I was like, dude, I want you to help me round out these tunes because I just have such a trust in what he hears. So knowing that
he's got it.
He's got He is one of those dudes that I think probably are like you at this point. And I do this in my own right is when you play something, you hear everything. There is no missed. You hear what the bass is doing. You hear if there's drums or not. You hear if there's a mandolin. You hear all the pieces are written upon the melody line and whatever you're doing. So to have somebody that kind of either solidifies that or hear something different that challenges what you're hearing to go, hey, that's cool, but check this out. I've got this other part. I feel like at some points you need somebody like that.
100%. Yeah, I mean, it's like a second opinion almost, but like someone who knows a little more about like the sound aspect of things. Because with mixing and mastering, I don't know. Yeah, that's a whole thing.
It's a second opinion. Plus, he's the adult that you thought was an adult when you were a kid that knew everything.
Exactly. But no, I mean, him and his Rolodex of session artists. I mean, it's on. Take Me Home. It's he's doing pedal steel, some backing vocals, and we got Jake Groves on harmonica, and blew it away, man. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. Excuse me.
No, good to go. We'll cut that,
but
I probably won't.
That's still honestly, anybody that knows me, I'm always coughing. But it's. I knew that we needed harmonica on there. I didn't know what it was going to sound like. And then Aaron just was like, "Hey man, if you don't like it, we'll take it out." I put some of the dobro on it, and he did some backing vocals during the chorus and stuff. And it's not that it turned it into another song, because it didn't. It turned it into the song that it was.
Elevated it.
Yeah, like it like solidified it.
Yeah.
And in a way that I didn't know it was going to. And I mean, I against his advice, listened to it nonstop, like early mix. He's like, "Don't get used to this mix, it's gonna change." And that happened. Right? I got used to the mix, and then he sent it to me, and I was like, "I know this is better, but I'm used to this." It just that was kind of the beginning of like when I really kind of realized like I think this is the start of something big. And then the other one, Onward's got Jeff Guernsey and Chris Cupp on cello, and just the like juxtaposition of both of them, just such
strings
talent.
Masters.
And it just, again, like I didn't really, Aaron had a little bit of an idea of what he wanted it to sound like, but it was very open-ended. It was just like, all right, y'all
play.
Yeah. And like that song Onward still gives me goosebumps. like it's, it is something else. And again, I mean, I don't know if I would have it. I don't know what it would be like if I didn't have the Monarch around, but like Mark and everybody there, I mean, played a more than a pivotal role in me being where I am now, like music wise, even at the talent that I'm at right now, because just being around those people gives me the motivation to play on my own time. I go to the bluegrass jams, I go to the songwriter nights, like the circles and stuff, and it helps. Like, and you just kind of hear yourself playing with other people and what it could sound like, and it's great. It's also got me better with networking, which still feels a little bit gross, but I'm getting the hang of it.
Hey, man, it's part of the game. Speaking of networking, man, for any of our listeners and people watching that want to follow you, want to check you out, want to hear the new tune that's out either right now or real soon, where can they find you?
Teddy Joe Music, that's Joe, Teddy Joe Music. All one word is my handle on Instagram. You can find me on Spotify. I should be on just about every streaming service there is. And yeah, I mean, that's if you want to find me, that's where you will. I'm also available to session work as well if anybody is interested. I love playing with people. Love sitting down and just jamming, being creative, just working with good stuff.
There you go. All right, Jay, where you at? Wrong one.
Jalen Leanne Photography on Instagram.
There you go. Spencer.
It is just Spencer.Corbin on all the socials. Hit me up for any of your luthier needs. Any of that stuff. Yeah.
All right. I've got on Earl's shirt, so make sure you check out. Oh, there you go. Earl Bowman. He's got some stuff coming out probably right now or real soon. So check him out as well. Follow us, Top Hill Recording on YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. It only takes a second.
Yeah, it's easy. One click, and then you help us out. We help you out. You get consistent entertainment, and there
you go. All right,
consistent. Absolutely.
All right. So until next time, see you later.
Bye.